I don't know what happened there. That all sort of went a bit. Reminded me of like when I was a teenager and I discovered my dad's sort of 70s jazz collection. I love playing over chord progressions like that because I find for ear training, it's really good at letting your ear just go, do you know, I think those little semitone adjustments, you can hear that they'll work rather than having to know Mixolydian or whatever.
And it's okay to make mistakes
over that kind of chord progression and that style of music, as long as the mistake is just a passing mistake.
Yeah, you can go like that. It's chromatic. No, is it? But I can't explain why that is. Somebody else can explain that for you. Whatever.
Welcome back to Andertons TV. These are new guitars from PJD.
This is so light, bro. Feel that. And tell me that doesn't feel like a light guitar.
I'm a big fan of
I love
Lee Dovey.
Yeah.
I think, you know,
we got the same shoes.
What do you say? People buy people, don't they? Sometimes you meet somebody and he's a smashing guy and he makes nice guitars, and so you go,
I want a massive
guitar workshop
of,
up in near in the north of England. Is it near York?
It is. I've been up there.
Anyway,
lovely people.
So PJD Lee, I've known for a few years. He's been making guitars for you know, must be 15 to 20 years, something
2010.
like that. Oh, okay.
I think his dad made guitars, isn't it?
PJD is his dad's initials. Yeah. So if you've ever wondered where does PJD come from, that's what it is. Oh yeah, established 2010. Look at that. It even says it in huge writing. Lee has been making guitars in the UK, and I think, you know, there's not been many hyper successful British made guitar brands, but you know, Lee's doing his best to try and sort of make PJD one of those brands. But what's exciting here now is he's done his first design collaboration with a factory in the Far East.
Yeah.
This is an Indonesian now PJD guitar, really beautifully specced. We've got one is a copy of the Carey shape, and one is the St. John shape.
Your middle name.
It is my middle name, I know. Thanks to my stoned parents that chose that for me back in the 70s.
Mine is Heubusk.
Which
means tall bush. Well, it's like my second middle name.
Carey is the single cut one. St. John is the offset. And there are other shapes within the PJD range, in the British range, but these are the two shapes that are being done as this sort of this first venture into the Far East. 4 different colours across the model, so if you can get any of these colours in either of the shapes. Really like the shapes. I like the blue. I like the sunburst actually. That's a really pretty bit of shade of red in it.
I like this.
We can go through the construction of the guitars, but it's obviously all relatively typical of, you know, things like your sort of roasted maple necks and your mahogany bodies and stuff with the veneers.
Bolt-on.
Got locking tuners. The pickups are a PJD Asian-made humbuckers. We've got the hardtail pieces that look a bit like a hip shot, but again, it'll be a sort of a locally sourced bridge out there. But what is quite nice is these come from the Indonesian factory back into PJD's UK workshop. Yeah. So they go through the same setup and finishing process that the UK built guitars go through. So they come out with it exceptionally nicely set up. Nice and lightweight, and at $7.99.
Dude.
$7.99, including VAT, and including this rather nice PJD gig bag as well.
That's a lovely gig bag. That's a great gig bag.
So I think that's another really interesting sort of value. You know, there's so many good guitars out there now for sort of 700 or 800 quid. But
this is a contender, Lee. I'm not going to lie, man. It's just set up. I think that is one of the things that when it comes in and somebody puts hands on it and goes la 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 la, especially somebody who does it really well, like we know they do, it just makes such a huge difference to when you pick it up and you play it and you feel it.
I agree.
For the guy who, I mean, this apparently was hanging in the shop, so the other one's unboxed, but this one, and this just feels nice. It plays so nice. The intonation is on and everything. I like the inlays as well. I mean,
they're great. I mean,
800 quid, bro. That's a great price.
Yeah. Well, let's hear some. Let's hear some, Mr. Pete.
Why don't you do a little bit today?
Well, I will. I'll do this. The humbuckers are the same on each guitar. So the only sort of tonal difference between the two of us should just be that, you know, I'm playing through a different amp, and obviously I'm a different guitar player as well.
Different personality. They shine through as well. It's also about the size of the. They're hot pickups, these, because we just did a Epiphone video and they were more clean. nice spread sound.
Yeah.
Got those after sickness hand.
Ooh.
No pedals. No pedales. Here's the distant Halcyon. That's a Dane at the end, it's a bit more bright.
I so prefer the openness of the Dane over a tube screamer.
Yeah, it's got that mid, it's mid. Oh,
that sounds great, man.
It sounds great. Been listening to a bit of a Steel Panther again.
I'm not expecting this to sound hugely different.
There you go. Your amp sounds so much different than your amp.
So the amp is cleaner. Where have I got? I've still got this is my new, well, I say new for this sort of year. That's sort of the slightly more gunned preamp level. I think I quite like it as well. When you take a guitar that's got quite a Gibson-y kind of approach to the body material and the two humbuckers, but then you put a bolt-on neck on it.
Yeah.
You get a snap that you perhaps associate more with a Strat or a Tele, but with a sort of a fatness that you might associate with a Les Paul.
Yeah.
I'm not saying better or worse or anything, but it just creates another different kind of vibe of a sound. It's not as warm as a Les Paul would be, but sometimes you might not want that. You know, you might want that slightly more percussive sort of attack.
What's the cap on here? Is that just a veneer?
Just a veneer.
Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah, again, these are all the things. It's the same as most other manufacturers. You know, you take the design out into the Far East, and in the UK, or if you're building it in America, you might put a proper maple top on it, and that might add £500 onto the price or whatever. And obviously in Indonesia, you haven't got those kind of margins to play with, so you use a veneer, and it looks very, very similar and costs a fraction of the price. Drive-wise, if I was to put a Dane on, it's got that throaty kind of roar. Again, I think you're still hearing that snappiness of the guitar.
Slowly.
I was actually using, though, for that opening jam, a fuzz pedal. And I was hoping I could do something funky with the octave, but I'm not sure I found a sound that was, you know, quite...
Sorry, no.
What key was that going to be in?
I thought you were going do 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 do. That's
Oh, I see. No, I wasn't doing that.
That's a great sound, though.
It's a funky sound, and that's kind of, well, that's half the fun of pedals, isn't it? Right? Every single pedal you switch it on, it feels like you got another guitar. What else?
And you can add and take
heaps of reverb.
Intonation is good on them as well, aren't they?
I think again, it's the equivalent, I guess, of going and buying, say, a £700 or £800 guitar and then taking it straight to a really, really great luthier and saying, could you do a £100 setup on this, please? And that's kind of what you're getting in the price.
Actually, that's why you, when you play a PRS SE in the UK, they come in there and they give them 20 minutes each to set them up. They make sure the frets are all level and all that stuff, and there's no... So you just giving that 20 minutes, every guitar gets that, so when it gets to the consumer, the customer, the shop or whatever, and we pick them up and we play them, it's that first impression, isn't it?
Swappity swap. Have you got anything constructive, useful to say about?
They feel
quite different.
Yeah,
I think the balance of the single cut one feels
slightly better. That feels like a bit of a long. It's got a bit of a long.
Interestingly, visually, I think the offset looks nicer, but I quite like the.
Feels like you've got fatter frets on this.
It does feel like the neck is shifted more to the left on this.
Yeah. I was just looking around it, and you know, I think the overall built craftsmanship is really nice. I think it's just a feel thing when you sit with the guitar. I think, as you said, this feels slightly shorter together, where that one feels slightly longer. And I think when you stand up with it, it's like, that's not gonna matter if whether you're us or you're Dagan or you're me. You're gonna be happy. I feel like the fretboard, so it's well done. The frets are really nice. They're too jumbo for me. They're too fat, you know what I mean? There's too much fret on here. I don't need all that fret. My strings are not touching that much of the fret anyway.
It's funny, you love a skinny tall fret. Do you know what though? I'm going to say that's a subjective point, because personally, I really like the slightly, I think I would say these are medium jumbo as opposed to like super jumbo. But I like that. Well, goodbye now. We're just going to jam over this chord progression that I was messing on the other day. Pete's going to play Noodle's lead guitar over it, and I'll just play the chords.
You know Noodle over it?
It's fine, I'll try it and you Noodle.
It's like Lee's coming out with an album. It's going to all be produced by John Mayer.